Welcome to the NCAA Women's Volleyball Post-Game Press Conference featuring Texas. We will now begin with an opening statement from Coach Elliott and then go to questions. Use the raise hand function to indicate you would like to ask a question. When you are called on for your question, please state your name and affiliation first. Coach, please give us a brief opening statement and then we will go to questions.
Well, what a great match. I thought it was a war out there. Wisconsin defense was so good, and it was a back and forth kind of battle, what we expected. So much respect for that program and that team, and our team just executed late in game one and late in game three, and we came away with a victory. But loved the way that our fight was. I loved that our demeanor was good, and we had lots of different people contributing.
Thank you. Now we will go to questions from the media. Use the raise hand function to indicate you want to ask a question. When called upon, please state your name and affiliation first. Our first question is from Dennis. Please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hey, Coach. Dennis Delapena from Fox 7 Austin Sports. Congrats on the win. Talking with you before, I know you were ready for 5 sets in this thing, that it was going to be that kind of night. How pleasantly surprised are you that you guys pulled off a sweep, and how did you get that done?
I'll have to go back and watch some film. We executed very well. At this level, you could see the serving pass game becomes really important. I thought we were a little bit better for longer periods of time. We got stuck in a couple rotations, but we made some big time plays. And more importantly, our out-of-system setting with our outside hitting really got us on some runs. And, I thought Nani played phenomenal tonight back there, middle back defense, and just gave us a lot of clean touches that, converted into points. And, ultimately, there's different blocking schemes and different matchups that you have. But, we knew that we had to have Brianne Butler be big tonight. And, in the past few matches, she's been more of a decoy. And tonight she was on fire, and was so proud of her.
And Coach, as a follow-up, you talked about before how this is a selfless group. They're a joy to coach. With that said, how happy are you that this group is going to the national championship?
Yeah, we're super fired up. It's been a while. But, this is such a cruel profession because only one coach gets to win this at the end. And it's such a challenging profession. So you take a lot of it to trying to raise young women and do it the right way. And for me, this group is such a special group that you want them to learn the lessons by ultimately winning the championship. And that's what we're going to try to do as a staff and get ready here in the next 48 hours.
Thanks, Coach.
Our next question is from Kirk. So, Kirk, you can unmute yourself and ask your question now.
Yeah, Kirk Bowles from the American Statesman. I thought you guys would at least break a sweat tonight, Jarrett. You almost made it look easy. Can you talk about the contribution that you did get from IOC and great digs from Sydney, I think in the end of set one, and a big one from Morgan O'Brien in set three. Could you just talk about some of their accomplishments and contributions?
Well, last year we during the pandemic and during the recruiting process, we know kind of what pieces we need to kind of fix and get better at. Having those 3 players back there really adds a different level to our program right now because we have some physical players, but you got to complement that with ball control. And those 3 are playing so well together, and they're having so much fun next to each other, and they're just balling out.
And you had some really crucial timeouts. It seemed like how strategic was that? Like stopping some of their runs when they would, try to get some momentum going.
Yeah, I think game one we were down 22-20 and just made some plays and made some big swings on the left, but. Game 3, we almost gave it away. We had a rally at 15-11 that was a back and forth to really let us give some separation. And that went from, instead of winning that and going 16-11, it went 15-12. And then they got an ace, and the game was really tight from that point forward. But, we had to execute at the end. We made a big play, and they were relentless. They never gave up. And Morgan took that ball off her shoulder or chest, and we delivered a really good out-of-system set from a non-setter, which we work on all the time. And Logan luckily got the touch there, but thank goodness I had another challenge. I was thankful I had one in my pocket still.
Thank you, Jarrett.
Our next question is from Nick Moyle. Nick, you can unmute yourself now and ask your question.
Hey, Jared, congrats on the win.
I lost you.
You hear me?
Now I can hear you.
That first set, y'all are down 20-16, and it kind of looks like Wisconsin's in control a little bit. You call a timeout, and y'all just looked like a different team kind of when you came out. I guess, what was the discussion in that huddle, and what did you see change from that point on the rest of the set?
Well, our passing was really far off the net, and we just had to live and die by our left sides. And, that's without having balance against a team that is that physical and plays that good a defense, it's challenging. So it was a very simple talk. Like, we just got to execute. And, we were looking for, a matchups that we had, and we were able to execute it. I believe it was with Asia to kind of get us going.
Yeah, and actually about Asia, obviously this is really special for all of y'all, but especially for her to have 2 open heart surgeries and be able to come back and not only help y'all get there, but be a really vital component of this run to the championship game. I mean, what's it mean for you to just kind of see her be able to enjoy this and be on this run with y'all?
It's so much fun. I was there for the surgery and sitting in that waiting room and just, praying that everything would go okay for this young woman, and just to be healthy and see if we could, have a successful surgery and get her back to playing. And that was the second part of it. And she has not skipped a beat. She's been phenomenal. And so it's allowed her to train throughout the year. But I thought this was one of her best matches. She's always been able to put up numbers offensively, but her block is something that we've been working diligently on. And she came out early in game 1 and had a couple of nice stuff blocks and got after it, and then was really effective from the service line. So she had a really well-rounded game for us today.
Thank you.
Our next question is from Lincoln Arneal. Lincoln, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Jared, you limited Redkey to just 6 kills, and there are other big hitters. I mean, also Lobrook had 6, Haggerty had 6, Hart had 5 too. What was key to slowing down some of their big guns on offense?
Yeah, they have a couple formations where they either stack or they spread. We really tried to kind of serve hard into their stack in a kind of a 5-to-5, kind of pin them a little bit more and shorten up their approaches at times instead of going more line to line and allowing them to get out there and have some full approaches. But, our servers did such a good job, and they just got off the net and they didn't have many opportunities. And that was the big difference.
Thank you.
Our final question will be from Kirk. So, Kirk, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yeah, Jared, how would you rate this defensive performance overall, as good as y'all played?
Yeah, I mean, it was very steady. It was good the entire night. I think we still left a lot of points on the board. I think, gosh, what was it? 17-12 at one point. Jenna set over on 2, and then we got stuck in an easy free ball, and we set it outside the antenna. But besides that, everything else was good. I was really pleased with the way that she set the game. And defensively, we've got some size so we can get some touches. But our littles, what I call them, all of our liberos or DSs, played a phenomenal match. And, they tried to attack Logan a lot on tipping and off blocker stuff. And her and Skylar really responded to that. So I felt like we executed the game plan that Eric put together. He's a great, I kind of look at it as like football, try to kind of mirror that off. We got offensive and defensive coordinators, and I thought Eric did a phenomenal job.
And the 2 days off, how much fresher did you feel after the back-to-backs against Penn State and Nebraska? Did you have your legs back, you think?
Yeah, we had our legs back. We went pretty hard yesterday for about an hour and a half, got them back. But, our sports science, Travis, has done a phenomenal job. We measure every practice and try to get to a workload that we want to be at, and kind of every single day we're hitting that. Some days it's lighter and heavier so that we could be prepared for this. And, thank goodness for Travis and what he's done. I need to call him. That reminds me. Thank you.
Thanks, Jared.
All right, we have one more question. Daniel, you can unmute yourself now and ask your question.
Hi, Coach. Daniel from TSTV. Last time y'all lifted the trophy was in 2012. Do you see any similarities between this team and that team?
I think they're both in a good mindset. I felt like, in past years when we haven't been able to do it, they've been a little bit more stressed during different times. And this group has a will and a belief that they want to do that. And, when we played in 12, we won a barn burner in Game 5 against Michigan. and then came out and played light. We played perfect against Oregon. I think we had 2 hitting errors the entire night, but completely different team. I mean, Kentucky, I felt like Kentucky's playing maybe the best volleyball in the entire tournament that's outside of our program. So a lot more firepower. They've got great arms. They've got the setter of the year. They can serve and pass. So, this is just another win. Like, we've got to make sure we're ready to go because Craig Skinner's one heck of a coach.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Coach Elliott, for your time tonight.
Thank you.
We will be joined now by Brianne Butler, and then after we'll be joined by Nalani Josiah. So please use this time to raise or lower your hand as necessary. We are now joined by Brianne Butler. Use the raise hand function to indicate you would like to ask a question. When you are called on for your question, please state your name and affiliation first. Our first question is from Dennis. Dennis, you can now unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hey, Brianne. Dennis Delapena from Fox 7 Austin Sports. Congrats on such a big win. It's a simple question. How does this feel for this group that's been through so much to be going to the national championship?
Wow, it just means so much, so much. We're all so excited. We're so proud of all the hard work we put in, and it's just finally paying off.
And the way you did it, Brianne, to sweep the #1 previously undefeated team, are you guys playing your best volleyball? How did that happen tonight?
We just really just stuck with our game plan, just focusing on what our side was doing, not what their side was doing. They have really good hitters. We knew they were going to get their kills, just move on to the next play and focus on our side. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Our next question is from Kirk. Kirk, you can unmute yourself and ask your question now.
Yeah, Kirk Bowles from the Austin American. Brianne, congratulations. You and Logan and Asia and Scott, y'all get so much credit and attention and praiseworthiness and deserve every bit of it. But I was wondering if you could speak a little bit to Nalani's game tonight and Jenna's Gabriel's setting and what that did for y'all's win.
Wow, I honestly have no words. All of our back row just played amazing digs. Sid, Nani, just wow. I can't even believe how amazing they played.
And that's just kind of just further proof of how complete a team you guys are. Isn't it hard for other teams just to find a weakness?
Yes, for sure.
And you speak a little bit to, I know Sydney had a great dig, I think, to help close out the first set, and then Morgan looked like she almost took one in the face to keep a point alive in the third set. You remember those plays?
Yes. I think it just shows how willing we are to just work for each other and just get everything up and not let anything fall. So I'm definitely so proud of how they played tonight.
Thank you.
Our next question is from Maya Taylor. Maya, you can unmute yourself now and ask your question.
Hi, Brianne. Maya Taylor from the Austin American Statesman. Great game tonight. I was just wondering how much of this game is mental, and what do you do to mentally prepare?
Yeah, a lot of the game is very mental. I know Jared always makes us take at least a few minutes, how much time you need before we get onto a serve and pass, and then just recollect yourself and imagine what you're going to do. So I know personally for me, for the mental side, I just take time. I think about what I'm going to do. I think about our scout and everything I need to take. So the mental aspect is definitely a huge part of it, and we spent some time working on that for sure.
Thank you.
Mm.
Our next question is from Daniel. Daniel, you can unmute yourself and ask your question now.
Hi, Brianne. I'm Daniel from Texas Student Television. Y'all had to wait a while for the final point, right? They had to go through the review, and then y'all kind of had to stay there, wait for it wait till they announce it. What was that like? What was that 1 minute like? And when they finally tell you that you're going to the finals, does that make it a little bit sweeter than it would have been?
Yeah, it was definitely a long minute to wait, I'll tell you that. But once we heard the call, it was just a free-for-all. Everybody just ran out. We were so excited, so pumped up. But the wait was well worth it, I'll tell you that.
Thank you.
Our next question is from Nick Moyle. Nick, you can unmute yourself now and ask your question.
Hey, Brianne, Nick Moyle at the San Antonio Express News. Congrats on the win. I'm just curious, Coach Elliott mentioned, some of y'all were kind of still carrying that Louisville loss from a few years back, kind of in the back of your mind into this. Did that serve as sort of a little fuel into your fire, just, trying to, I guess, make amends for that upset loss from a few years ago, especially because you didn't have a tournament the other year?
Mm-hmm. For sure, that Louisville loss is always in the back of our minds, and I think we really took the offseason to just mentally prepare ourselves, physically prepare ourselves to get into moments like this. So it definitely gave us a good reason to work hard and get to how we got to today. So definitely.
And I'm going to go ahead and say Asia's probably the only person in this tournament who's had heart surgery once, let alone twice. What does it mean for you just to be able to, be on this journey with her and have her not only be with you, but play such an important role for y'all?
Wow, Asia is honestly, she's so amazing. She's a wonderful person, wonderful teammate, and words can't describe how proud I am of her. And she's been working really hard in off-season after her surgery to get back, and she's just an amazing person. Amazing.
Thank you.
Our next question is from Kirk. Kirk, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yeah, Brianne, y'all just dominated tonight. Wisconsin had lost, 3 sets all year before the Florida match. Do you think maybe they were overconfident and took y'all lightly because they were number 1 and undefeated?
I guess they probably did, but like I said before, we just really need to just focus on our side and take care of our business and just not worry about if they underestimated us, if they overestimated us, just focus on our side. So.
And last thing, you guys have played 2 seasons basically. It's been such a long year. What do you feel like y'all took from the fall season that y'all have applied? Was there any parts that you feel like y'all got so much better for the spring season?
Mm-hmm. I think we really took the fall season to just build our chemistry, and that was a very big part of what we wanted to bring from the fall into the spring, and I think we did a very good job of just coming together and playing as a team and bringing so much energy, but definitely.
And any lineup changes, especially in the back row?
Any lineup changes?
Yeah, since the fall that, I don't know if, Nalani played more this spring or she kind of came on late in the fall, didn't she?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a few switches in the fall, but like I said, the fall was really to just get our team going and see what works and what doesn't work. So,
thanks so much.
Our final question will be from Maya Taylor. So Maya, you can unmute yourself now and ask your question.
Brianne, so with everything going on with, COVID and all that stuff, how has that been for you and your teammates dealing with that over the past 9 months and just kind of having to be extra disciplined, especially as 18 to 22-year-olds?
Mm-hmm. I am definitely so proud of the way we handled COVID. We didn't really have to take any matches off because of it. We were so disciplined. We had all of our staff working really hard to keep us on track. It was really hard, but we basically have been in a bubble for 9 months, and it's definitely been paying off. All of the Zoom workouts have been paying off, but yeah, we stayed really disciplined during the whole COVID process, and like I said, it's just paid off big time.
Thank you, Brianne, for your time tonight.
Thank you.
We will be joined momentarily by Nalani Josiah. Please use this time to raise or lower your hand as necessary. We are now joined by Nalani Josiah. Use the raise hand function to indicate you would like to ask a question. When you are called on for your question, please state your name and affiliation first. Our first question is from Kirk. Kirk, you can unmute yourself and ask your question now.
Nalani, congratulations on the win. You starting matches late in the fall season. How much better are you now than you were in the fall?
I think physically, I think I'm just able, or mentally, I'm able to move on to the next play easier. I think it really built my mental strength on the court and off the court. So just having that experience was just awesome going into the spring season.
Is there anybody special that's kind of kept encouraging you and trying to motivate you for these critical matches?
I think everyone, I don't have one person who specifically stands out. I think everyone on the team does a great job on and off the bench. They're just there, positive encouragement all the time. They're even criticism too. Like, I'm able to take that well from each one of them, and it's just awesome having teammates who support you through this all.
Our next question is from Daniel. Daniel, you can unmute yourself now and ask your question.
Hi. So this is obviously you're one step away from the ultimate goal, but how has your experience so far in the NCAA tournament compared to what you've dreamed about since middle school, high school, etc.?
It's been a roller coaster. COVID, how it is with all the fans. When I was little, I always just dreamed of playing in front of millions of fans, the crowd going crazy. You can barely hear your thoughts. And just with COVID and barely any people there, it's definitely shifted the experience. But I'm grateful for the experience. Even though we didn't have that many, I think we had that many fans. It's been awesome to adapt to this new environment and still come out with a win either way. But yeah.
Do you think that because most of the other teams in a tournament they didn't play in the fall, unlike the Big 12 in Texas, do you think that even though you didn't play as much in the spring, but the fact that y'all stretched it out for the season being so long, do you think that helped y'all in the tournament so far?
Yeah, I think it really helped build our chemistry on and off the court with new players coming and old players leaving. I think it was really important for us to play those fall games to just get our experience down and that chemistry going, and it really paid off in the spring season.
Thank you.
Our next question is from Maya Taylor. Maya, you can unmute yourself now and ask your question.
Hi, Nalani. Great job tonight.
Thank you.
I was just wondering, this has been probably like a whirlwind of a freshman year for you. Do you feel like this is setting a foundation for, what you'll do later on in your college career?
Yeah, definitely thinking about how this is my freshman year is just a great start. I wouldn't want to have started it any other way, and I think this just sets the expectation and the bar higher for each and every other year that I'm here to just keep going and keep chasing that same feeling that we had today.
Our next question is from Kirk. Kirk, you can unmute yourself and ask your question now.
Yeah, Nalani, y'all held Wisconsin to 220 hitting percentage, probably the first time ever for them this year. What did Coach say about y'all's defense, and why were y'all so good on the floor in that area?
I think our defense had a great deal to do with our block. We had a great block setup, and as far as our coaching staff going with our defense, I think they just wanted us to have grit, go for every single ball, read each attacker and their tendencies, and just go after it. And yeah, I think we executed really well on that. We had great block touches, and we were just able to read around the block easily and just scoop those balls up.
Yeah, Coach Sheffield for Wisconsin, pointed you out and talked about your fighting spirit. He said you were almost like a mad woman out there, just couldn't wait for the ball to come your way. Was there something special about you and your emotions tonight?
I just think it just ramps up each and every game. I get more excited. We're closer to achieving that goal that we set, and I'm just amped up on and off the court. I just want the best for my team to just go out there and fight for each and every ball, and I'm always hungry for that ball to come from me or not. Either way, I'm over there supporting my teammates. So, yeah.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
If there are any more questions, please use the raise hand function now. All right. Thank you, Nalani, for your time tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you all for participating